He kissed her sister at their engagement party. Right there under fairy lights she had strung herself, with trembling hands and too much hope. The champagne glass fell from her fingers. It shattered like her heart, sharp, glittering, loud enough for everyone to turn and watch. Her sister smiled sweetly, feigning innocence. He looked at her, not with guilt, but with love, the kind he never had for her. In that moment, she realized she was merely a shadow in their story. Disposable, replaceable, forgotten. But fate is cruelly kind, because the night she drank the poisoned wine, she thought it was the end. And yet, when she opened her eyes, 5 years had vanished. She was back at the beginning. This time, she wouldn't beg, she wouldn't weep, she would rise silent, smiling, and unstoppable. Before the betrayal, she believed love was sacred, she believed kindness could soften cruelty, and patience could earn devotion. She believed him. He was her first love, her only dream. She had built her world around his smile, small moments, endless promises, the illusion of forever. She thought she was his choice. But love, she would learn, is often a mirror showing only what we wish to see. Her sister, Lena, was everything she was not. Beautiful, bold, adored by all. Where she spoke softly, Lena sparkled. Where she stood steady, Lena danced, and he loved the dance. It began as whispers, a brush of hands, a secret glance over her shoulder. She saw it, the warmth in his eyes that used to belong to her, and told herself she was imagining it. She smiled through the ache. She planned their engagement with trembling joy. She ignored the pit in her chest that whispered, "He's already gone." Until that night, under fairy lights and applause, she turned and saw him. His lips on her sister's. Her heart stopped. The glass in her hand shattered. Her world followed. The crowd gasped. Her mother looked away. Her father sighed. Her sister smiled, feigning guilt. He only whispered, "It's not what you think." But it was exactly that. In the days that followed, she became a ghost in her own house. Lena comforted her with sugar-coated lies, pressing a cup of wine into her shaking hands. "Drink," she said softly. "Forget him. You deserve peace." She drank, and the world grew dark. They buried her quietly. She was too fragile, they murmured, too emotional. No one knew the truth. No one cared. Her love killed her. Her sister buried her, and the world moved on without her name, without her story. But the universe does not forget. She woke to the sound of rain. Soft, familiar, her heart thrashed because she shouldn't have one anymore. Her fingers touched her face, warm, her chest beating. She gasped, the air sharp as new life. Around her, everything was different. The walls, the light, the scent of spring. A mirror stood by the window, and the reflection staring back made her knees tremble. Younger, untouched, unbroken, it was her. 5 years earlier, the year before her engagement, tears filled her eyes, not of sorrow, but disbelief. Was this mercy or punishment? Then she remembered the poison, the laughter, the betrayal that tasted like wine, and something inside her shifted. The girl who once died begging for love was gone. In her place stood a woman carved from grief and reborn in silence. She looked at her trembling hands and whispered, "Never again. No more begging. No more chasing shadows. No more dying for people who never cared whether she lived." This time, she would not seek love. She would seek herself. She started small, steady breaths, calm thoughts, quiet plans. The world still saw her as soft. Let them. They would never see the storm beneath her smile. When her lover came to propose, all charm and certainty, she declined. Simply, gently, as if ending a dream. He froze. "Why?" Her voice was calm. "Because I finally woke up." Her sister watched from behind, pretending surprise, but the heroine met her gaze unflinching, steady. And for the first time, Lena looked unsure. That was enough. In this new life, she would not scream or burn. She would rise quiet as dawn, certain as fate. Her rebirth was not a miracle. It was justice. She returned to the same world that once broke her, but this time, she carried the weight differently. No more trembling hands. No more pleading heart. She walked through familiar halls like a stranger in her own past. The house still smelled of roses and secrets. Her mother still compared her to Lena. Her father still looked through her, not at her, and her sister still smiled that sugar-sweet smile, hiding venom beneath glossed lips. But now she saw everything, every false kindness, every hidden cruelty, every look that once fooled her. She didn't react, she didn't fight, she simply watched, silent and calculating. Instead of weeping over the ashes, she built something new. She took control of her father's neglected business, the one Lena had once mocked her for caring about. Everyone laughed at first, until they didn't. Within months, profits soared, her strategies turned heads, her calm defied doubt. The girl they pitied had become a woman they couldn't understand or control. Her former lover noticed. He came to see her, contrite and confused. "You've changed," he said softly. She smiled faintly. "You haven't." Her sister, once radiant, began to dim. Every success her sister achieved made Lena's envy sharper. She tried to spread rumors, to ruin reputations, but the heroine was always one step ahead, polite, untouchable, composed. Behind her stillness, plans quietly bloomed, evidence collected, allies gathered, truth sharpened like a blade behind silk. At dinners, she listened to their lies with grace. At night, she wrote letters that could unravel them all. She didn't seek revenge, yet she was simply preparing balance. Because now she knew, the sweetest victory isn't loud, it's quiet, patient, certain, and when the moment comes it doesn't scream, it smiles. It came quietly, the day she had been waiting for. No thunder, no fire, just calm. The kind of calm before a storm that knows exactly where to strike. The charity gala glowed beneath crystal lights, the same event where her humiliation had once begun. 5 years ago, she was the girl who broke under betrayal. Tonight, she was the woman who had learned to use her broken pieces as armor. She arrived in crimson, not the red of love, but of rebirth, of blood remembered and forgiven. Every head turned, even theirs. Her sister stood across the hall, radiant, laughing too loudly beside the man who once promised her forever. They looked untouchable, perfect, exactly as they had before they killed her. And so she smiled, because she knew perfection was the easiest mask to crack. When the auction began, the lights dimmed, a slideshow flickered on the screen, not of donations or sponsors, but of truth, documents, transfers, letters signed in Lena's name, evidence of years of theft, deceit, and fraud, all laid bare for every guest to see. Gasps cut through the room like knives. The man who once betrayed her froze, his face pale, Lena's painted smile shattered. "Who did this?" she hissed, trembling. The heroine rose slowly, calm, graceful. "I did," she said softly, and the silence that followed was louder than applause. Security came. Reporters swarmed. Her sister's pleas echoed like old lies. Her ex reached for her hand, desperate, guilty, lost. She pulled away gently. "No," she whispered. "This touch once burned. It won't again." Her voice did not tremble. Her vengeance was not chaos. It was clarity, and as her sister was led away, and her ex sank under the weight of regret, she stood untouched, luminous in her own peace. Justice, not cruelty. Closure, not destruction. This was her rebirth made real. When the dust settled, she didn't celebrate, she simply breathed. For the first time in years, her chest didn't ache. Her nights were quiet, no ghosts, no whispers, no replaying of pain. The city buzzed with scandal for weeks. Headlines shouted her triumph, but she stayed silent. Victory didn't need her voice. She withdrew from the noise, choosing solitude over spectacle. She spent her mornings in sunlight and silence. Her nights under stars she'd never taken time to see. Freedom, she discovered, was not loud, it was gentle. It was the ability to exist without fear. Her business flourished. Her name became one of respect, not pity. And slowly, people who once ignored her began to look at her with awe, but she no longer needed their gaze. One day, she left for a journey with no destination, just a suitcase, a sketchbook, and a heart ready to begin again. In Florence, she found stillness. The streets hummed with art and memory, and the air tasted of possibility. She met a man by the river, quiet eyes, kind smile, the sort of calm that didn't demand attention. He didn't promise forever, he simply listened. They shared stories, coffee, silence, no grand declarations, no illusions of destiny, just honesty. And for the first time, she didn't measure his worth by how he made her feel loved, but by how she felt when she was alone and still at peace. He once asked, "How did you learn to be this strong?" She smiled faintly. "I stopped trying to be loved by those who never saw me, and I started seeing myself." She no longer carried bitterness, only wisdom. No revenge, only rebirth. Her scars no longer hurt. They glimmered like constellations, proof she had survived the dark. And this time, she didn't live for anyone's love. She lived for her own. They once said she died of heartbreak. But heartbreak was only her cocoon, because from every betrayal, she gathered wings. From every wound, she learned to fly. They tried to bury her in silence, but she bloomed louder than forgiveness, brighter than regret. She no longer waited to be chosen. She was the choice, her own beginning and her own ending. And when she walked away, the earth seemed to bow, not in sorrow, but in reverence. He chose her sister over her once, but in this life, she chose herself, and that was everything.